So I wanted to talk about the Childfree movement that's going on right now. You guys have probably heard about it, that, there's the dinks, the dual income, no kids, and then there's just people in general, especially I think a lot of women talking about how they don't want to have kids, and that this is definitely a trend that opposes a lot of previous generations, that young women today are less likely to say they want kids. And really interestingly, that even the most recent reports have said that men under 34 particularly are more likely to say they are very interested in having children than women under 34. There seems to be a lot of polarization where on one side people say having kids is the best thing ever. How could you not want kids? That's selfish. That's wrong. Society can't survive without children. And then on the other side, you have people saying that having kids is really hard and not everyone's made to do it, and we shouldn't have to have children if we don't want to, and if it doesn't seem like the right thing for us, and that it's just a personal choice, that people should not try to get in the middle of couples or even individuals' choices about starting a family or not. And I think that a really big missing piece here is that this child-free movement seems to be largely driven by a lot of fear. And I say that because, like pretty much every movement today, every social movement, it seems to be spreading a lot faster because of social media. And if you go through and look at this content around the child-free movement and you see why people talk about not wanting kids and why it's a good idea to think twice about having kids, a lot of it's around lifestyle choices. So kids fundamentally change your lifestyle. I mean, it's just unlike anything else that you, especially as a woman, because I think some people today try to pretend that it's possible to have a totally even 50-50 split between the man and the woman when raising kids. And it just, I'm going to be honest, it just really doesn't basically ever work out that way. And that's coming from someone who's got a 7-month-old baby boy. So I recently went through pregnancy and am in the thick of raising an infant with my husband. But we both work, but there's never going to be a time that men can be as involved in raising a young child as a woman can, for biological reasons, that a man can't get pregnant, a man can't breastfeed, that only the woman can do those things. And I believe they're truly gifts, but it would be silly and dishonest to say that they're not also things that just totally change your entire lifestyle when you have kids, that you are a completely different person, that you can go from being in a long-term relationship to getting married and it can look pretty similar. It should be different still, different levels of commitment, but it's nowhere near the change as when you go from, say, married to a parent. So I totally get that. That is a totally valid argument. But I think the reason so many people seem to be concerned about embracing that lifestyle change is because a lot of us are talking about how scary it is, all the things that come with pregnancy, all the things that come with mothering a young child, all the things that come with just having this sometimes overwhelming responsibility of not just keeping another human alive, but raising them so that they are healthy and joyful and capable. And if you have more than one kid, it only multiplies. So yeah, there's a lot to being a parent that's really hard and can seem very scary before you're in it, or even sometimes when you are in it. But in other aspects of our life, it doesn't seem like we give people the advice to behave according to an avoidance of our fears. So for example, I don't know any college guidance counselor who would say, don't apply to Harvard, for example, if you're scared of rejection. Or I don't know anybody who would say, if you're scared that a business you might want to start could fail, you should definitely not do it. Or if you're scared that having a successful business will totally change your lifestyle, you should not do it. That we definitely encourage people to take risks and do things they're scared of and get stronger as a result, and really embrace that life is about change. We're constantly changing, and that it's okay to be fearful of what change looks like. And so really what I'm trying to get at is that there are reasons people cite for not wanting children that don't have to do with fear. And there are reasons that people can't have children, even if they want to, that don't have to do with fear. However, I think a ton of the reasons that are out there today are coming from women who have spent a lot of time listening to other women who have had kids, or maybe even some that haven't, give a lot of reasons about why we should be afraid to embrace this huge change and embrace this enormous responsibility. And that mindset of living according to our fear, letting our fear drive our decision making, I think that's not the direction we want to go. We want to pursue a life of meaning in spite of fear. We want to pursue a noble calling that makes ourselves, the world, and everyone around us better, in spite of anxieties, or in spite really of the risk that everything worth doing is worth doing well, and worth doing well knowing that there's a risk that we fail, or there's a risk that it wasn't what we thought it was going to be. And if people can embrace the idea that parenthood is a risk, and that the only thing definitely guaranteed about parenthood is that it's going to totally change your life, but that almost certainly you're going to love those kids like you've never loved before, I think that's a healthy mindset to approach the potential of parenthood with. But what do you guys think about this? Please leave a comment on this video if you have any thoughts, and specifically your thoughts on why you think the child-free movement's happening and what its implications may be for both men and women and society more generally.